final step off of the airplane stairwell, I felt like a person who had been in a frying pan with the stove still on. The tarmac had been soaking under the Asian sun for at least 10 hours. Man, was it hot. We new troops, or cherries as we were called, were shuffled like a deck of cards upon our arrival in Cam Ranh Bay, South Vietnam. After arriving in country, we cherries were to be sent throughout this most astonishing area of the Far East as replacement troops. As replacement troops, we were put anywhere or any place the United States Army had an opening. My feet were still burning as the airbase gave me an elusive view of my new surroundings through a wavy mirage of heat. Suddenly my name and number bellowed from the PA system. My 12-month tour of duty had just begun. The very next day, I was relocated by airplane and helicopter to the northern section of the southern half of what used to be one entire country. The country had been separated by an invisible line, known as the DMZ, that theoretically ran straight across its midsection. I had been relocated to a place known as Camp Evans, about 20 miles south of this invisible line. I was a soldier trained in mortar fire, and I was pretty good at it. This certain battalion of the 101st Airborne, 3rd Battalion, 187th Infantry, did not have a mortar platoon and did not have any need for any trained mortarmen. I was assigned to a 3-man sniper team. Presently, my team was holding their position somewhere out in the field. The senior NCO assigned my rank and file to a nightly ambush squad until I could be placed with my 3-man team out there. I now had about 3 hours to obtain the necessary gear such as guns, ammo, grenades, knife, face paint, backpack, cigarettes, etc. to be of service. What if it rained? The sun had already begun to set when our squad exited the western gate of Camp Evans. We traveled on foot for about an hour in one direction. Darkness fell upon us maybe 30 minutes later when a clouded sky would not permit us to have any more light than was reflected by a waning moon. Our 10-man squad then circled itself to form a loose oval perimeter as some soldier belly crawled through 4-foot-tall elephant grass to set tripwires to some small and easily transported landmines known as claymores. The troop whose area I was in to be in support of was a man from San Bernardino, California. He called himself Hooker P. Nose, but his real name was Randy Lehman. Inside the tall elephant grass, Hooker said to me,
"Cherry! You are a goddamn cherry! Keep your mouth shut, make your eyes stay open, because if I have to die for something you did, I'm going to take you with me!"
By this time, my asshole was a little more than puckered up. I was scared shitless when the first claymore mine exploded, followed by incessant and uncontrolled volleys of gunfire whistling through the tall grass. Lying on my stomach in the wound created by the elephant grass, I began to pull the trigger of my weapon. One magazine clip later, the night felt darker. I grabbed another clip and proceeded to do the same thing all over again, and again, and again. In the darkness, the elephant grass began to have a shape and formation as helicopters dropped flares from the sky. An eerie and hideous hue of pale yellowish light illumination filled the night. The morning's first traces of natural light were beginning to soak through the tall elephant grass. The jungle was turning itself from night into day as Hooker P. Nose softly whispered in my ear,
"God damn it, Blondie. Can you believe this shit? A dirt mound. A fucking dirt mound all night long. We fired into a dirt mound."
I replied by not making any noise.
"How many clips you got?"
When Randy Lehman whispered in my ear, I knew I had been saved. I wasn't Cherry anymore. The new sun began to rise in the eastern sky. Gently gazing towards the west, then looking directly overhead, I closed my eyes for the longest second of my life and sent a thank you to the one above, while holding out 2 fingers for Randy to see.